I'm standing in line at McDonald's, and I really want those chocolate chip cookies. I have like $2.39 in my pocket, and just as I'm about to order the cookies, I see the McFlurries. So I'm like, oh crap, now I want a McFlurry. I end up buying it, but I still wanted the cookies, and I'm still online. So I call out to my friend sitting at a table near the cashier. Guys, do you have $1? They say no. Then about 4 people behind me, I hear, oh, I got $1. And I turn around and see this tall, dark, and handsome young man walk up to the front of the line. He gives me $1. I happily buy my cookies and sit with my friends. Now, he and his boys are 2 tables away, and they're all telling jokes, and me and my friends are all laughing at them. And one of his boys decides to come over and talk to one of my girlfriends. And then he walks over to me, stuffing my face with chocolate chip cookies, and says, I see you putting my dollar to good use. I laughed. And that was the day I began my friendship with Samuel. After that day in 2008, Samuel and I became really good friends. I liked hanging out with him because he's a good conversationalist and I'm a good listener. He's also extremely hilarious and I'm extremely sarcastic, so we have a lot of fun. He also never tried to flirt with me or hook me up with any of his boys, so that was a plus. That was a plus. And he was a very, very good friend to me. And I'm the type of person, you know, as a girl, I believe that a guy and a girl can be just friends. You know, no kissing, no flirting, no sexual activity. And Samuel was it for me. So I really enjoyed being around him. I really enjoyed being around Samuel. Sorry. One weird thing that I did notice about Samuel was how he dressed. And he'd wear these bold red and blue hoodies and sometimes green fitteds. And if some of you don't know, these colors are associated with gangs. These colors are associated with gangs, and if you wore these colors and you weren't a member or associated, that meant trouble for you, or that made you an easy target, like the kids at my school who had been getting cut and robbed and jumped. And there was this day called Blood Initiation Day, where basically members of the Blood Gang go around slicing girls' faces. So I told Samuel about this, and he opted in to pick me up after school and then take me home. I walk outside, and I see him waiting for me, and he's wearing a red hoodie. And as I'm walking to him, I'm thinking, what is he wearing? So I go up to him, look him up and down, and tell him semi-jokingly, boy, you better stop wearing these colors because I'm not trying to get shot with you. His response was, nah, we good. At that point, I questioned whether he was in a gang or not, but I shrugged it off because we got home safely. Until he finally asked me, yeah, because you know I'm in the gang, right? There was a long moment of silence, and I just stared at him. And I didn't want to believe him because he didn't know my serious near-death experiences with multiple gang members. He didn't know that I hated gangs because I fear that they're pointless organizations created by people who victimize others and claim power because they put the fear into people, and that means respect. But there's a difference between being feared and being respected. You live longer when you're respected. So as his friend, I made it my job to keep him alive and persuade him out of this nonsense. Now, initially, I was upset with him and more disappointed, but we were already friends, and I wasn't ready to cut him out of my life. So our fun conversations about past blind dates and stealing fruit from bodegas when we were younger changed it to him sharing his stories with me about how he got an adrenaline rush from firing his gun at a group of boys who messed with one of his fellow gang members, and how he robbed this kid for a Zune because he looked at him funny. I would argue with him about how ignorant he sounded and pleaded with him. Samuel, had I known from the beginning that you were in a gang, we would not be sitting here right now. I don't understand how someone as intelligent and generous as you can enjoy being in a gang. He just sat there with his head down, and he only apologized for not telling me earlier. and I kind of felt sorry for him, so I changed the conversation. Summer of that year, 2009, we decided to go to the pool together. And as I'm waiting for him, we're laughing and reminiscing about how funny Dave Chappelle's skit on Tyrone Biggums' crack intervention was. And out of nowhere, he says, "You know, I was going to recruit you, right?" I wasn't finished laughing, but I just stopped. I've never been so furious, so fast in my life before. It was as if my heart was a volcano and it exploded, and all the lava shot straight up to my head. And it was more of a physical anger, not an expressive one where I curse him out or punch him in the face. And he saw that I was at a loss of words, so he continued trying to cover it up, saying, "But I didn't, because I got mad respect for you. You're like a sister to me, and I don't really trust girls, but you're one of the 3 that I do trust." All I could think about was, I am so cutting this dude off. This friendship is over. And I wanted to leave, but we didn't. And I spent that whole day very upset. And I hadn't spoken to him a week after that day. I didn't even miss him. He texted me twice, and I never replied. And then he called, and I picked up with the intention of cursing him out, telling him to go to hell, and then hanging up the phone. But he kept apologizing over and over and kept talking about how I was like a sister to him, like fam. Eventually, I forgave him, but we hadn't called each other like we used to, and we hadn't hung out like we used to. And then we just stopped communicating with each other. I graduated, and my friends decided to go to McDonald's. McDonald's is basically the spot for us. It was our lives. And we were sitting there talking, "Oh, I'm going to miss you. This is going to be our last year together." And one of my friends asked, "Deborah, what happened to that boy?" I'm like, "What boy?" My other friend says, "Your boyfriend." I'm like, "Whoa, boyfriend?" And then they both say, "The boy that bought you the cookies." And I was just like, first of all, he's not my boyfriend. Second of all, he gave me $1. I bought the cookies. So after that, I couldn't stop thinking about him. So I was just thinking, well, it wouldn't hurt to text him. But then I realized that after you haven't spoken to someone in over a year and you text them, it's kind of like, who are you? So I decided to call him. And when I spoke to him, he sounded really good over the phone, really mature. And he told me that he left the city and he was in Pennsylvania working at a wood and bat factory. He told me, "I got to get out of the city. I'm tired of the city life. I need a break. So I'm going to be here for a while." And when he told me that, I just thought, wow, I miss him a lot now. But I'm proud of his attempt to change his life. And I feel like I had something to do with that. And the feeling was mutual because he also changed me. And I'm more of an understanding person. It's easier to judge someone than understand them. And that was hard for me to do in the beginning. So instead of judging him as a gang member, I understood him as a friend and as someone who felt that he was born into a gang. And I felt the need to change that. So now with my friends, they're openly telling me their stories, and I'm saying, okay, I understand, but here's the better side of things. And that's what he taught me. That's what our friendship resulted in me, the change in me. And thank you. And when he comes back, I hope he comes back. I plan on treating him to a day at McDonald's for some chocolate chip cookies.